adjust your crown. It's podcast time. Welcome back to Parables for a Woman's Heart. I'm your host today, Pastor Osh. And if this is your first time here, I want to say welcome. If you've been walking with us all season, thank you so much for trusting this space. Today is going to be a little bit different. This is our last episode in season 2. My God, I can't even believe that we're already 2 seasons down. God is just more than amazing. Queens, I also have exciting news. We have our very own theme song that was created for you. So I want you to stick around. At the end of this episode, you'll get to hear the song that is dedicated just to you. And so before we begin this last episode in season 2, I want to say this very plainly. This episode is going to be sacred ground. So if you're driving, I want you to slow down a little bit. If you're cooking, I want you to pause. And if you're listening with tears already close to the surface because you're overwhelmed, then guess what? You're in the right place. This is our season 12 finale. And I knew this season could not end with inspiration without truth or hope without honesty. And so today, Queens, we're going to be talking about infidelity. Not from a place of accusation. We're not talking about infidelity from a place of entertainment, but we're going to be talking about infidelity from the place where women sit alone at night, asking God questions they never thought they'd have to ask. And so, Queens, infidelity is one of those topics that changes the temperature of a room. The moment it's mentioned, people start getting a little bit uncomfortable because almost everyone has been touched by it in some way. And again, infidelity sometimes runs beyond just marriages. Either you've lived it, probably you survived it, witnessed it, or feared it. It doesn't mean that you are in that situation, but just being a witness or living with that constant fear can mean that you're impacted. And so let's talk about why this conversation matters. You know, we talk about marriage, we talk about covenant, we talk about forgiveness. We hear this in the church all the time. We don't talk about the loss of self. Nope. We don't talk about the hypervigilance that comes with being married. The way trust doesn't come back all at once. Nobody talks about that. The way your faith can feel shaken. Not because you don't love God, but because you trusted Him with something that broke anyway. Infidelity, Queens, it doesn't just break vows, and we're going to be real today. It fractures your entire identity. Because how could the one that you love, the one that you gave your heart to, your mind, your body, and soul, treat you this way? And so let's talk about what betrayal really takes from you. Because a lot of times we see this and we've made this the norm. Like, a man can't have one woman. We make side chick the norm. You know, it's okay for him to have a side chick. This culture has really changed the narrative of marriages. And so when infidelity happens, people often ask the wrong questions. They ask, why did they do it? You start asking, how long did it last? Are you staying or are you leaving? A lot of you can attest that this is very common, especially that question. So what? Yeah, stay or yeah, go. But the truth is, the woman that is living inside this pain is asking something else entirely. They're asking, was I ever truly chosen? Did he really love me? How did I miss this? Was I blind? Who am I now that what I trusted is gone? They start questioning everything about who they are and what they stood for. And so betrayal has a way of making a woman second guess everything about themselves. They start second guessing their intuition, even the memories. And sometimes they even interrogate their whole worth because of what has happened. And let me say this very slowly, by the way, because I believe that someone truly needs to hear this today. You did not imagine the safety you felt. And that's the truth. You did not fail because you trusted Him. Trusting does not make you foolish. It makes you human. And so for any woman who is feeling like, I should never have walked into this, it's okay. It's normal. You know, one of the heaviest parts of infidelity is the shame that doesn't belong to the person who caused the wound. And I want to make this very clear. But somehow that weight ends up on the one that's bleeding. So the man cheat upon you, cut you, deal with your way, and you end up carrying the weight of what he did. Women end up asking themselves, what did I do wrong? What did I miss? Why wasn't I enough? And the thing is, society reinforces that lie by suggesting, you should have known. You should have done more. You should have kept it together better. I was watching this thing on where a woman, I was watching it on one of those divorce show. But this woman was married to a man, and she was telling the court that she chose to step outside of her marriage because the man was racist. And so she walked away, leave the marriage, and she started engaging with another man who was of color. And she started saying that the man started treating her other kids that she had with this man very poorly. And then immediately I went to the comments, and let me tell you something. The comments were at her throat. They were like, how comes you didn't know he was racist all along? You should have known. You should have done something about it. You should have this. You should have that. Immediately started shifting the weight of what the man had done onto this woman. But I say to us today that betrayal is not a reflection of your value. It is a reflection of someone else's unresolved fractures, unresolved hurt, whatever they've carried themselves. It is not for you to question who you are. And so for the woman who stayed and is still hurting, I have something to say to you today. Some of you did stay. You prayed, you fasted, you sought counsel, you chose restoration. But staying doesn't mean the pain disappeared. And I think a lot of people don't get that. Because you stayed, they assume that you are okay and contented with what your partner did. Some days you're strong. Some days you're triggered by nothing obvious. Some days you miss the woman you were before you knew. Reconciliation is not pretending. It's not something you can pretend your way through. It's rebuilding literally brick by brick, block by block. And the thing is, healing is not so linear as we make it seem. And so, Queen, I say to you today, you are allowed to need time. You are allowed to need reassurance. It's okay. And you are allowed to grieve what was lost. Even if you're still standing, you can grieve the loss of trust. And so I have this to say for the woman who left and still questions herself. And even now, some of you left, and that's perfectly fine. And even now, you replay the decision in your mind over and over again. Did I do the right thing? Could I have tried harder? Did I give up too soon? But I say to you today, Queen, leaving doesn't erase love. No, it doesn't. Leaving doesn't mean you didn't believe in the covenant that you had with your partner. The thing is that leaving sometimes means you believed in life, you believed in peace, and you believed in wholeness. God doesn't measure your faithfulness by how much pain you can tolerate. And a lot of us think that God is going to hold us accountable or hold your level of faithfulness to the amount of pain that you've been through. And so I say to the woman today that is suffering in silence, there are women that are listening right now who have told no one. You are going through the hurt, the process, the frustration, the bitterness all by yourself. You're functional, yes, but you're fractured. You're smiling, but you're numb. Faithful, yes, but you're exhausted. You show up for everyone else while quietly wondering, who is holding you? I need you to hear this today. God sees the night, all of those nights that you are crying, the tears that you are releasing without words. He sees the strength it took to get out of bed this morning, the strength that it took for you to stay here listening to this podcast. And he sees the prayers you couldn't even finish because you're so broken. And I say to you today that he's not distant from your confusion. I remember when a very close friend of mine was going through this very same thing. I felt like there was nothing I could say to her to pull her out of that dark space. Slowly in front of my eyes, she was withering away. She started questioning her beauty, her self-worth, her body. She started wondering about everything that was in her life. The things that she was once confident about, she started questioning. I watched her stay in cars just crying. I watched her not wanting to go home. She tried. She tried multiple times to make that marriage work. But the act of infidelity really stole her happiness. And as a friend on the outside, there were days I wished I had my old friend, the one that knew how to laugh from the very pit of her stomach, the one that didn't need to plaster a fake smile on her face. Because a lot of times all I saw was the image that she was trying to uphold. She would wear the ring when she's going out, but when she was home, she didn't want anything to do with it because it reminded her of what he did. But to keep up the front, she would act as if everything was normal. The man never apologized for anything that he did. He left her to think she was crazy. And that's the hard part. When they start telling you that you didn't see what you saw, you didn't hear what you hear, you didn't know what you know. And so it makes it seem as if you are bipolar, you're mad, you're crazy. As if you are the one that caused or called this on yourself. A lot of them will go around and tell you the reason why I did it is because you weren't paying me much attention. You didn't give me what I asked for when I asked for it. As if you were a toy. And then shortly after, you start believing everything that they said and start questioning your self-worth. I've seen this damage a lot of persons that I care about. I've seen this damage family members. Damage your trust in God, their relationship with God. They've stayed. Some of them did. And to this day, they never recovered their identity. I know a lot that walked away and they're still broken, not able to trust another man, still not being able to even trust their own judgment or even believe in themselves based on what they were told by their partner that hurt them. And so, queens, I say this to the woman tempted to escape. And yes, there are women listening who are not the betrayed, but the tempted. I want to say this very clearly to you. This is not condemnation. But temptation often points to unmet needs, unspoken resentment, or emotional starvation. And I say to you today, before you step outside of your covenant, outside of your marriage, ask yourself these questions. What am I actually longing for? What part of me feels unseen? What wound am I avoiding healing? Because the truth is, temporary relief can cost permanent peace. And you may think that stepping outside a little bit will be able to mend what you are missing. But I say to you today that that temporary relief is not worth your permanent peace. God is not shocked by infidelity, so let's make this clear. He's not overwhelmed by your emotions either. He's not rushing your feeling. He's not rushing your healing. Scripture is filled with broken covenants. We saw that. And a faithful God who walks with people through the wreckage. And so I want you to know that if you are going through infidelity, have gone through it either, I say to you today, that it's okay. God is still walking with you through this wreckage. He's sitting with you in the mess. He doesn't condemn those persons. He does not. And he does not demand instant forgiveness. So if your partner want to say to you, forgive me now, and put a timeline on when you should forgive them, then that's a red flag. Because God does not demand instant forgiveness. And God does not minimize betrayal. Trust me, he understands. He was betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. Amen. And so God is not done writing your story. I hope you are hearing this. Your story has only just begun. So as we close season 12, I want to leave you with this.
This is for the woman who kept going when no one clapped, for the prayer she prayed alone and the strength she never posted. This is for her. She wakes up with the weight of the world, still puts a crown on straight, carries stories no one knows, smiles through the ache.
She's been broken, she's been bending, still standing in the fight, held together by a promise and a quiet kind of power.
They don't see the tears she hides or the battles in her mind, but heaven knows her name. This is for the woman's heart, the one God sees in the dark. Every scar, every prayer, every peak, she had to restart. She's not weak, she's becoming, she's been chosen from the start. This is for the woman's heart. She's loved and she's lost some things, trusted and been betrayed, played through seasons that didn't change, still learned how to stay. She's a mother, she's a builder, she's a dreamer and a fighter, wrote her faith in broken places, found God in the fire. When the world told her be quiet, God said, daughter, rise, and she listened. Oh, this is for the woman's heart, the one God sees in the dark. Every scar, every prayer, every peak, she had to restart. She's not weak, she's becoming, she's been chosen from the start. This is for the woman's heart. She's more than what happened to
You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the choices someone else made. You are more than the pain that you are currently carrying quietly on the inside. And so whether you are rebuilding trust or releasing what can't be restored, or probably you're still figuring out what healing really looks like, you are not weak, you are not alone, and you are not forgotten. I want to thank you for trusting this space. Thank you for staying. Thank you for your courage. Queens, this is Parables for Women's Heart, and this was Season 2, Episode 12. We'll meet again in our next season, stronger, wiser, and still becoming. Until then, what good?
They don't see the tears she hides or the battles in her mind, but heaven knows her name. This is for the woman's heart, the one God sees in the dark. Every scar, every prayer,